In this example, similar to the one in your homework, we have the function f of x, and we're given that x, in my scenario, x equals -9 is going to be one of the x-intercept of this function of x. And our objective here is to find the other two. So we're going to figure out the other one and find out where else, right now we know is that f of -9 equals to 0. And we're trying to figure out what the other two values are that are going to make, again, the function equal to 0. So to do that, we're going to use this answer, -9, and set up a synthetic division problem. So we're going to write 1, 1, -63, 81. So 1 times the -9 is -9, and we put that underneath the second one. Adding these two numbers, that gives us -8. This is going to become 72. So that's a -63 plus 72, that is 9. 9 times, again, that -9 up there is -81, and we end up with 0. So we have x squared minus 8x plus 9 as our quotient. So what we're going to do with this quotient is figure out where is this quotient going to equal to 0. So let's try first factorization. We get lucky and factorization works, then we're good. We're good to go. Now the factors of 9 are 1 and 9, 3, and 3 first of all. So we're going to break this quadratic into x and x. We have a negative right there, and a negative times a positive is negative. So that's going to be negative as well. And because the signs have to be this, again, in order to get the positive and this right here to be the negative, because of that, none of these factors work. Obviously 3 and 3 doesn't work. Adding two -3's together is not going to give me -8. So no reason to automatically see that. The tricky part here is, like, it looks like 1 and 9 would work, but if only if the 1 was going to be positive. But because the signs have to both be negative in order to satisfy, again, the conditions that this is negative and this is positive, then 1 and 9 doesn't work either. So factorization is not an option. So doing this technique is not going to work. So the only other option is to use the quadratic formula. X equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2 times a, where the values of a, b, and c come again from the coefficients right here, which again are listed already up there as well. So let's plug those numbers into this formula, and I'm going to do it down here. So x equals, our -b value is -8, plus or minus, we have our square roots, and in the square root, we're going to put b to the second power. So again, that same -8 raised to the second power minus 4 times our value of a, and then times our value of b. We're going to divide this by 2 times our value of a, and we're going to simplify this. So we have +8 plus or minus, we have a 2 in the bottom, and all we have to do is simplify the discriminant, this part right here. So we're not going to type in the square root. We're only going to type in -8 to the second power. So again, just this. So we're going to write this to the second power minus the 4 multiplied with this 1, and then multiplied with the 9, which is going to give us a total of 28. So this purple number 28, again, is from this. Again, and I'm not doing the square root, okay? Because again, it's not factorable, so it's going to be irrational. So we have 8 plus or minus the square root of 28 divided by 2. Now we could try to simplify this, but we don't need to, because again, we want the, and this is the exact answer. So no reason to simplify it from this point on. So x equals to 8 plus the square root of 28 divided by 2, and 8 minus the square root of 28 divided by 2. So those are the other two remaining x-intercepts.